Hey everybody, welcome vlog number 22 on this Saturday afternoon. Yeah, I know I said I really don't do political rants anymore, but you know, I think what's going on in Libya deserves some sort of response, some sort of reply from me, considering considering it's pretty important what's going on. Libya, yeah. Muammar Gaddafi, who we've been dealing with for decades now, dealing with some upheaval from some rebels, although we don't know really anything about these rebels. There's no indication that these guys are Libyan people. There's no real answer of who these people are, where they're being funded, where they're getting their weapons. You can make the argument that these guys are possibly CIA-backed rebels, you know, fighting and being funded and trained by possible black ops, CIA intelligence black ops. That's obviously a possibility considering our government's involvement in overthrowing dictators in the past via color revolutions and so on and so forth. But you know, my problem and where I find the biggest problem is that Obama just basically used the UN and you know, his power as president during a humanitarian emergency to launch missile attacks in a sovereign country. And people want to play word games and say, no, this isn't an act of war. Yes, it is. I mean, if China launched missiles and bombed parts of the United States, or even you know, Hawaii or wherever, that is an act of war, no doubt about it. So let's call a spade a spade. If it smells like war, looks like war, and feels like war, hey man, it's war. You know, it's the whole duck analogy. But you know, Dennis Kucinich wants to get possibly, you know, look into impeachment because the president didn't consult Congress, which is just a continuation of what's been done ever since, pretty much right after World War II. My problem is that we act like the United Nations trumps the wishes of and the Constitution, and the idea that Congress, our representatives, get to have a say in the matter, you know. And I mean, it just goes down, I mean, I know I'm going to sound like a John Birch Society member, but I think there is some sort of truth to the fact that the United Nations is a threat to the sovereignty of the United States. Considering the fact that the United Nations, you know, the history of the United Nations and how the United Nations formed. I mean, we know that the United Nations was the second attempt by essentially the globalist elite to form kind of a world government in a way, kind of like a world body. You know, the League of Nations, which was formed right after World War I, with the help of Woodrow Wilson, our president, who, you know, signed off on the Federal Reserve Act that gave the bankers basically the control over our financial system. You know, he had banking. You know, Warbug, you know, was a part of his administration, helped, you know, and he, the banker, I mean, just when banking got involved in the government, the bankers realized that, hey, war is a racket, and everybody makes money off of war. Well, let's see, instead of, allowing sovereign nations to fight against each other, let's control all of the nations so we don't have to war, and we'll just run the country, run each individual country as a world, as a part of a world community. And that's essentially what's going on now. Like I said, my problem is the fact that we allow the United Nations, or we allow our president to use the United Nations as a reason to trump the Congress and the Constitution and launch wars against sovereign nations without a declaration. Once again, Obama using tactics that George W. Bush used, that he blasted when he was campaigning for president. I mean, he said that there's no way that the executive should be allowed to launch wars without the approval of Congress. And so, it's once again another hypocrisy, another double standard. When a Democrat is in office, it's totally fine, but when a Republican is in office, we're going to scream bloody murder. And the fact that no one's out there protesting, no one's really raising a big stink except for people like Ron Paul and Dennis Kucinich. They're, saying, hey, this is not, this is exactly what George Bush did, and, actions need to be taken, possible impeachment. Which, hey, Bill Clinton got impeached because he got a blowjob in the Oval Office, and I think sending the United States to a possible another war theater and getting involved in military actions, launching bombs that cost, I believe the count they said was like $1 billion already, and every week it's a certain amount more. Anyways, I'm not sure what the count is. That's just a lot of money we don't have as a nation. So yeah, Libya, let's get our troops out of there. Let's not get involved. The United States, and it's not an idea of being an isolationist. We shouldn't be isolated. Non-interventionists, yeah, but isolated isolationists, we're not. I don't think that's what anybody wants. We want to protect our country. We don't want to protect the interests, the special interests who run or have hijacked the government. We want to protect our country, the people of this nation. And I don't think getting involved with Libya, which it's a humanitarian effort. How do you aim, first of all, if you claim it's a humanitarian effort, how are launching bombs into a nation helping that? Sure, it's taking out some of their air defense sites, but still, it's like the idea of bombing for peace is like fucking for virginity. That's a bumper sticker I saw once before. It's awesome. So, but it just doesn't make sense. And how Obama supporters are now, oh yeah, he's a great humanitarian. Well, let's see. Oil and being a port, country that's next to the Mediterranean Sea. Rwanda didn't go in there. Other nations that have had brutal dictators, didn't do anything with them. So once again, another war for geopolitical soil, possibly oil, and the fact that the media and the left are playing this off as, no, this is different than Iraq. It's bullshit. It doesn't. No, there is no difference. Okay, so anyways, that's what I have to say about that. So, and to come to find out, the recent poll came out that California would still vote for Obama if he ran for president in the election. So, yeah, I live in a essentially a blind faith democratic state who can't live up to the fact that Obama's a hypocrite. Oh, he's a great president. He's passed healthcare reform. Yeah, okay, whatever, You tell me that the economy's fine. Yeah, okay, sure. Stock market's doing good, but the stock market isn't the economy. Stock market isn't our financial sector. You know, it doesn't. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's a game. It's gambling. It's not real. It's, you know. So if you're gonna tell me that everything's fine, then clearly we're living in two different worlds. That's about it. I hope you enjoyed that little mini political rant. Maybe I'll come up with one soon, again, if I feel the need to. And otherwise, I'll talk to you later. Bye.